and welcome to Aaron's Imagineering. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at the many Imagineers that are immortalized on the Main Street windows. There are tons to discover and many to learn about, as each of them have used their own talents to help build the magical place on Earth. Come with me on this journey of learning about Imagineerings and all to discover about the Magic Kingdom and more.
All come to this happy place.
It's such a magical surprise. Here we go. It's such a magical surprise. Here we go.
Here at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World, as guests enter the park, they are greeted with a 20th century American town theme. This part of the park is called Main Street, USA, and was built to model the town of Walt's upbringing, Marceline, Missouri. In Walt's mind, the main town street should feel comfortable and beautiful, a friendly atmosphere with beautiful buildings. This idea could only be achieved by recreating his hometown as a magical entrance to the park. Disney never lived to see the Magic Kingdom open, but his dream was realized by the Imagineers, resulting in a beautiful concept and design. To commemorate the many Imagineers who helped build Disney World, or the many legends to the company, their names are written on the second-story windows of the Main Street buildings. There are dozens of Imagineers hidden on the Main Street windows here in Walt Disney World. Each Imagineer provided their own special and unique talents to create one of the most magical places on Earth. I will be going through in depth on each and every Imagineer that I am able to find a reliable source of information upon. Each one needs to be talked about as they have each brought in something special to the company and to the parks. Now, to build the team to help create the dream, there is always one person with that special spark. Before going into depth about the many people who helped make this magical place, why not introduce and learn about the man himself, the one who dared to dream, Walt Disney. To learn about Walt Disney, I've headed over to Hollywood Studios to walk through one man's dream, a history of Walt Disney. Walt's father, Elias Disney, began as a carpenter in the World's Fair. From there, he eventually ended up in Chicago as a carpenter and held that position all the way through till Walt was born on December 5th, 1901. With the money Elias made from contracting, he bought a family farm, which was a long-awaited dream of his. It was in Marceline, Missouri, where the Disney family had their farm and Walt began his life. The farm was not the type you would expect profit from, so of course things got hard for the family, and eventually the farm was sold. With the money from the farm, Walt's father used it to take the family to Kansas City, where he envisioned a new future for the family. But no matter what happened, failure was bound to occur within the Disney family. As time went on, one by one, each of Walt's siblings moved away. Walt adjusted to this reality, but then one day he found out that his best friend, his brother Roy, had gone and joined the Navy. Walt thought to himself and wondered if he too could join the Navy, but due to his young age, he was rejected and instead drove an ambulance around France for no more than a year. Walt began to feel lonely, so he put in a request to return home, to be discharged. Upon Walt's return to Chicago, where his parents resided, he told his father that he wanted to be an artist. Of course, Elias was not thrilled with this idea, but Walt went full steam ahead anyways. He moved to Kansas City, where his brother Roy resided. I'll let Walt tell you what happened next.
One of the fellows working with Roy said, "Say, I have a couple of friends that have an art shop." So I went up with these samples, and there were all these corny things I'd done in France. Well, my gosh, they hired me. I mean, right on the spot. So I took the camera home, and then I started experimenting. Oh, man. So then I went into this Kansas City Film Ad Company. So that was where I got started in the animation business. So I'm thinking if I had something with a novel twist, I might crack the market.
Even though Walt's ideas and cartoons were amazing for the time, they still took him nowhere and only caused problems with money. Walt had hit rock bottom once again. It was rough, but these hardships taught him a lesson. With just $40 in his pocket, Walt packed up and left for Hollywood. With both Roy and Walt unemployed and in California, both established the first cartoon animation studio in Hollywood. Walt's first success was Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, and during this time of success, Walt also fell in love with one of the girls from the ink and paint department. Her name was Lillian, and both were soon wed. With all of this joy in the air, hard times were just around the corner. On a trip to New York City, Walt learned that through a contract loophole, he had lost not only Oswald, but also his entire art team. After learning of this, Walt quickly headed back to California. But something magical happened on that train ride home. How about you tell him, Walt?
Mickey Mouse came into our life.
He popped out of my mind onto a drawing pad on a train ride from Manhattan to Hollywood at a time when the business fortunes of my brother Roy and myself were at lowest ebb and disaster seemed right around the corner. His first actual screen appearance was at the Old Colony Theater in New York in Steamboat Willie. He was the first cartoon character to stress personality, and I thought of him from the first as a distinct individual. I did the voice. Hang on, pal, here we go. Mickey was simply a little personality assigned to the purposes of laughter. Mickey fitted the need exactly. He brought in the money which saved the day. He enabled us to explore our medium, and he paved the way for our more elaborate screen ventures.
With the success of Mickey Mouse, Walt began experimenting with the different animation ideas and ways to tell stories. With these different techniques in the work, Walt and his team created what they called the Silly Symphonies, or as they would be called today, animated shorts. With these successes, Walt began to push his artists harder, as he did not want this success to slip away. But then the inevitable happened. Walt had what he called one heck of a breakdown in 1931. With this, he wasted no time and decided to take his wife on the first vacation they had ever had. And when they returned, Walt was a new man, filled with many new ideas. These ideas were some of the many beloved classic films we know today. His first success, of course, was Snow White.
Now, if I could crack the feature field, then I could do things. I had done a little story research on different fairy tales I might do, and Snow White was one of them. I thought it was the perfect story. I had the heavy.
It's a magic wishing apple. Now, make a wish.
I had the prince, then the girl, the romance. I had the sympathetic dwarfs and things. We started Snow White sometime late 35, and it was around 2 years in the making. We had the family fortune, we had everything wrapped up in Snow White. In fact, the banker, I think, was losing more sleep than I was. We had a big premiere, the Carthay Circle Theater, big, grand Hollywood premiere. All of Hollywood brass turned out for a cartoon.
The daddy of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is going to be presented this beautiful statue. Isn't it bright and shiny?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Aren't you proud of it, Mr. Disney?
I'm so proud I think I'll bust.
With the profits earned from Snow White, Walt was able to build an animation studio. And within 2 years, he was almost broke as he had so many motion pictures in the making. But during this time of animation success, World War II broke out, and many of Walt's artists and team were drafted. Due to this setback, many of the films were put on hold. Once the war was over, starting work back up again at the studio was hard. So with the many ideas Walt had, one of them was to mix animation and live action together. This idea was risky, but Walt believed it could be the one that would save the day.
We decided to try something that would employ about every trick we learned in the making of films.
Take a look!
We would combine cartoon, live action, in enormous fantasy, Mary Poppins. As the original Mary Poppins budget of $5 million continued to grow, I never saw a sad face around the studio. Even my brother Roy was happy. This made me nervous.
Of course, Mary Poppins was a sensation and simply reinvented how people saw filmmaking. Walt Disney had once again made history and changed family entertainment with the many classics we love. But with this breakthrough, Walt wasn't done. He had an even bigger idea on the horizon. Now knowing what you know about the upbringing of Walt Disney, I hope you are just excited to learn about the upbringing and the magic behind the Disney parks. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more videos. I hope you have a magical day. Bye!
To all who come to this happy place,
It's such a magic